Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So, listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Quiet. Hear the ravens cry. The stillness of the wind rising hot on the street, the towers hide the darkness of the day, when La Sombra's dreams come true, on the day when the moon runs as blood, and the sun rises black in the sky. That is the day of the damned, when Cain's children will rise again. And the world will turn cold, and unclean things will boil up from the ground, and great storms will roll, lightning will light fires, animals will fester, and their bodies twisted will fall. So too will grandsires will rise from the ground. They will break their fast. On the first part of us, they will consume us whole. On the second day, Cain will return and call his children to the meeting place.
Neil, you must wake. Wake, Neil. You feel a hand shake you, and you come out of this daze that you'd found yourself in. Again, around you, you see Baghdad. You actually have a very beautiful view of it. You kind of quickly recall that you and Nara have been hiding in Baghdad Tower, which is a place with, again, an excellent view, and there is an observatory there that she has been using in an attempt to communicate with the Ladder of Heaven. For weeks now, you've been working on this matter regarding something called the Herald of Hakim. She hasn't really explained very much about it, but you have been taking probably more Khalif now than you've ever had throughout your own life. She keeps meeting with other members of her clan who all seem to have this very close interest in you, but they themselves come across as conspirators who are afraid of the city that they're in. So it is you and her and you finding yourself having spouted strange words.
What? Sorry, I'm having trouble focusing. What were we talking about, beloved?
Neil, I do not know the extent to what I can share with you, but I will try to make you understand.
Okay.
You climbed the ladder of heaven and saw a dark cloud that draws near to the heart of my clan. A handful of us received a vision. There must be a schism. Two paths. But we do not know why. We do not know why the heart of our clan must be cut in two. But in my vision, I saw you.
The schism sounds familiar from when I climbed back at home, the one time I was able. It's been harder and harder to turn things off whenever I look.
There is a man that I am to meet tonight. He is, during my time as Firayin, he had studied alongside me. But his preference, the histories that he is drawn to, are focused on Nordism. The old tales of Cain and his mistress Zilla.
I think I have a Xerox of some of that.
It would seem that there are many who seek these words. Signs, premonitions of dark times have become quite frequent. And Jubair believes that some of the things that you are experiencing are tied to what is known as Gehenna.
I didn't think that was real. I just assumed that was the end times. That's a metaphor, I thought.
I do not know if this is real, But what I do know is that something is happening to the Get of Cain. Whatever it is has consequences for the children of Hakim as well. And I need your help to find out what that is. And I have meddled in the jihad of New England, trying to see if you can provide any answers, but so far, your visions have yielded strange signs that I do not understand.
Neil kind of runs his hands through his hair and sort of ducks his head a little bit, just seems embarrassed, like, no, he's never really as helpful as he hopes he could be. And even in front of Nara, seems kind of disappointed that in himself, that he's not more helpful, but doesn't have any answers, so doesn't really say anything.
For example, do you remember anything of the Herald?
I don't know. I remember looking to the heavens on New Year's Eve, seeing so many things coming, and the scions, the many-faced demon, the baleful eye watching over us, the coming storm. I remember, some of the things I saw have already happened. At the end of it, though, I remember just this hand. I don't know if it's the herald. I couldn't stop seeing in a manner in which I could never not do before.
Do you remember anything about this hand?
Small. It's a child's hand rising out of a tomb, blackened, almost like it was charred. Or I couldn't stop seeing it. I saw it coming out of everywhere, and anything that looked like a cave or a tomb or just a small dark opening, just reaching out. So I couldn't stop seeing it. I didn't have any context after that. I'm sorry.
You have nothing to regret. I'm not sure if the answers even exist. For all I know, we are chasing signs that don't lead anywhere.
That's pretty standard.
Is it?
In my experience, it's everything leads to something, but it's hard to. When you have a box full of 1,000 puzzles and all its separate pieces, sometimes it's difficult to put all those pieces together into a picture that makes sense.
Yes, I suppose that is true. She kind of scoots over next to you, and she's got like those long, tanned legs and a little silk robe that she wears kind of like falls down her curves in just the right way. And she offers still more Khalif, lighting it for you and then passing it your way. You smoke?
If she gives it to me, I take it. It's hard to say no.
She gives you even more Khalif, and sensing something, she rises to her feet and heads off to a door that seems to have been barricaded, like she was trying to secure it from other people interrupting you, maybe. And she kind of moves the chair and the debris out of the way, and when she opens the door, there is a young man with kind of a scraggly but longish beard. He's kind of wearing like olive drab kind of color clothes and some jeans, and he has a backpack on him. He slips in and he greets the both of you, and actually approaches you, and he's like, hello, it's very good to meet you. My name is Jubair, and I am here to help understand the visions that you are having. Nara seems to kind of like get in the way, and she's like, slow down. He has just undergone a vision, and we have to pace this, or we can hurt him. And Jubair is like, that's very good. All I want to do is introduce myself. And he kind of cuts around her and is like, hello, you are Neil of the Malkavians, and I am Jubair of the Children of Hakim. I am a vizier, and I am going to help you understand the strange visions that you are having, because I believe that these visions that you are having are tied directly to the Book of Nod, and together we are going to unravel its secrets and use what we find to save Baghdad and many other places from ancient evils that would rise up and consume all of the Get of Cain and innocent people in its wake.
Neil, having just done more Khalif 30 seconds before this guy walked in the room, just looks at him, nods very seriously. Could you do that again? I stopped paying attention. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, Mr. Neal. I am Jubair, and I am here to help you understand everything that you are going through, and together we will solve this mystery and prevent Gehenna, and all of the Gate of Cain and the children of Hakim will be grateful to us. So, while I understand you are very high right now, I just need a moment of your time, and why don't we start with some very simple conversation? Mr. Neal, what is it that you do? Where are you from? Who are your friends? What do you like? And she shoves him away from you, and he seems to be having a very, very hard time not just bombarding you with questions and intrigue and all these little curiosities that he has regarding you.
Neil sort of looks at him, looks kind of confused between him and Nara, scratches the side of his face. I'm sorry, all you want from me is infinity?
Well, I like to think that all we want ultimately is infinity.
You said a moment of time, but time is such a weird concept. It's so fluid. Infinity, moments in every second. Just eternally approaching an event horizon that will never come.
Well, in truth, time is merely a matter of perspective. But it is true, I seek your perspective, and if your perspective is that of the infinite, and that is what I seek indeed.
Okay.
And he just sits down across from you,
okay.
And he takes your joint, and he takes a heavy hit, and then passes it right back. So, my friend, tell me about your infinity.
Hi, I'm Neil.
Hi, Neil.
Where do you want me to begin?
What was your favorite day?
My favorite day?
Well, you can begin there.
The most auspicious day of my life was July 20th, 1969. And Neil just goes dead and doesn't explain anymore.
Well, it's very interesting. What is the day that you brushed with the secrets of Nod?
When did I go to the copy machine?
Yes.
I don't remember. It was a few weeks after January 1st, 1999.
Tell me about your adventures with the copy machine and what led you there.
I'm having trouble remembering where we got it or why. Did that come from the Xantosa?
I don't know.
I don't remember. And Neil's scratching his head, trying to piece all the pieces of where things came from
Why
together.
are you getting to know Xantosa, Mr. Camaria?
Oh, it's okay. My coterie mate killed him.
Well, that's good.
But then he got better.
That's not good.
And then he escaped.
Oof.
Because they didn't listen to me.
Who didn't listen to you?
They didn't stop the pipes up.
He takes your joint again and takes another hit. They didn't stop the pipes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You need to stop her up the pipes.
Where did you get the copy of the Book of Nod? What pages did you have? Did you read them? What were your thoughts?
Neil keeps scratching his head for a minute, takes the joint back, and takes another hit. Was it the Xantosa? Was it? Maybe it was Shaw. Xantosa, Vito, he had it. He had fragments of this heretical text. We were going to use it to. He was sending it to a member of the domain. We were going to use it to bury that member of the domain, but then the Xantosa got away. I didn't really have a chance to read very much of it. We were busy that night. We were very busy that night.
Oh, my friend, time is infinite.
It's true.
You should have had every opportunity to read it. Perhaps that is why we are here now, confused and missing important pieces, because the pieces have already been laid out for you.
I was more preoccupied with the coup and the lupine.
The jihad exists to blind the Gate of Cain to the truth of the world, my friend. It is all manipulations.
Okay.
I have procured information from a contact, and it is interesting news, if I don't say so myself. I'll show it for you, and I wish to know what it is that you think.
What
He kind of starts going through his backpack, and he starts taking out his own Xeroxes and notes and all of these things.
What I think, I'm just Neil.
But it is you who saw the Herald, yes?
I guess so.
Oh, it's very important.
He sort of looks over at Nara for reassurance.
She's kind of giving him weird looks, but then she seemingly makes a point of giving you a confident nod.
As soon as he sees her, he like relaxes a little bit more.
He clears his throat. Mark these signs, they are coming. Gehenna will be on earth. Mark the shadow which flies. Mark the dragon which rises. Mark the darkness which moves. Mark the shadow of the moon. Mark the angel that dies. Mark the maiden who weeps. Mark the children embraced. Mark the clanless who run. We discern that these are the signs of Gehenna, and supposedly more and more proof of it coming appears every night. However, it seems that not everyone can seem to identify what these signs actually are, or whether or not they are even appearing.
What, you want me to try?
Yes. Have a vision. Do it. He pokes you. Have a vision, and he kind of repeats himself, and then pokes you in the exact same way, thinking that maybe he did it wrong the first time.
Neil's a people pleaser, and he wants to try to do what this guy wants. So he'll kind of brush him off and walk out to the window. Walk over to the window. You said this was an observatory, right? That we're in, and just how clear. We're in the middle of the city. How clear is the sky?
Very clear. Despite how much light pollution you would expect there to be, it actually seems like you can still see a great deal of the stars.
Much the same way that he did when he was in New Haven a couple months ago. Neil sort of plants his bare feet on the stone of the floor, leans out the window, maybe a little precariously, and opens his eyes up and looks up at the stars. To the other people in the room, ask it again. Ask me what you want to know again.
We want to know what the signs of Gehenna have to do with the Herald and
one question at a time.
I don't know.
Well, and now that he's in this weird position, he seems a little bit more
Confident,
a little bit more not sure of what he's doing, but in that same way that Neil gets very focused on stuff sometimes, gets very focused on the task at hand, and looking into the chaos of the smattering of stars across the sky, tries his best to see something.
Nara speaks up. The Herald. The Herald must be the first question that we always ask. What is the Herald's name?
Hyper-laced with Khalif to a dangerous degree, Neil leans out the window to get the best view of the stars he can, opens his eyes. They go full black, widening to the point where he loses his sclera again. What is the name of the herald who comes?
Let's pause here 1 second. Neil, as you ask that question, you feel a cold hand grip you by your throat. Your mind starts to drift as though this is some sort of vision you're having. You then quickly realize that perched against the outside of this makeshift haven you have, there is someone who has been lurking and watching you from outside the window. And with his hand choking against your throat, he whispers to you. His name is Urshulki. It is then that you can feel the terror of your companions behind you as they also make a realization. From here, I need initiative.
Oh, Jesus. I don't suppose I'm not high enough to spend blood.
You can spend blood.
All right. Well, I can spend 1 because I'm Gen 13. By the way, they got me so hopped up, I'm assuming I'm at full pool or down a couple for doing magics.
You're at a minus 2 die penalty. It's treated like a wound penalty.
No, I mean full blood pool.
Oh, yeah, you're totally at full pool.
Yeah, I assume they've been just doping the shit out of me.
Yeah, they have been pumping you full of all sorts of shit for weeks and weeks.
After spending 1 blood for Dex, I'm at an Inish 12, unless you want to do -2 for the Inish as well.
12's fine.
Then I am at a 12.
Okay. Nara's at a 15. Jubair is at a 12. Going on A is the mysterious attacker. Going on B is Nara. Going on C is Neil. Going on D is Jubair.
Oh, okay.
With his action, he does two things. Holding in your grasp, he simply holds you, and there is no visible consequence of him doing that. Then he tilts your head to the side and spits some sort of fluid from his mouth directly at Nara. He hits Nara with 3 successes. When it connects, you can hear this sizzling sound, and she screams in pain as this acid strikes true and burns her.
No, please. Don't hurt them.
There will be no interference for the rise of the Herald. Not from you, not from them. It is meant to be. Nara gestures out with her hands. With her head poking outside, you can feel a sudden shift in the humidity in the air outside, and there is a streak of lightning that rains down from what is this sudden storm. Very quickly, seemingly so fast he can evade lightning, the person that has come for you dodges out of the way, but releases you from his grip and disappears in that window as you stumble back away from the lightning. You're certain he's still out there, but he's simply out of view at the moment. Neil, it is your action. Nara is standing beside you with her hands up, having just called lightning against him.
Where do we go? What do we do?
We must leave this place.
Okay.
That is Al Mualim. He is one of the web of knives.
So we go then. We run.
We run as long as we can until he kills us. And they grab up their things, and they seem ready to go.
Neil will follow after, but now knowing that there are members of the Children of Hakim coming to kill us, which seems pretty obvious, or worse, he will put up heightened senses and keep an eye out for hidden assassins coming out of nowhere, and just follow after Nara.
Okay. Nara's having a hard time walking.
Then he will support Nara
Okay.
as much as possible.
Jubair puts on his backpack. He's like, I'm very sorry that we're being interrupted by this, but hopefully if we do not die tonight, maybe we can discuss all of those things I brought up. And he goes and he starts undoing the barricade as quickly as he can. How much aspects do you have?
I have 4 aspects.
Okay. So we're going to go into a new round, and you are going to roll an aspects versus obfuscate check.
Mm-hmm. I have 3 successes.
That's going to be against his manipulation plus subterfuge. I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick roll. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Oh my god.
So...
Oh, wait, I had 4 successes. 1's a 10. I have a spec. Doesn't matter, though.
The only thing that you sense coming from the window itself is a soft breeze. You know it's open. You know he's coming. And it's almost made worse by the fact that you can't see him.
I really don't like being on this side of it.
Jubair gets as much of the debris out of the way as possible, swings the door open. If we make it out, we'll be good friends.
Sure. Who's our shulgi?
I have very many things I wish to say, but we must go. And Jubair starts rushing down the stairs, and he kind of just rushes to the next door and holds it open. And again, there's this moment where you can't hear the sound of your teeth grinding, but you don't see anyone. It's just this very brief moment, but it is completely unsettling to someone who's so awakened to the worlds around them in terms of their senses.
Neil will try and usher Nara out and close the door behind, if that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think of all the weird little tricks and roadblocks that always frustrate him whenever he is hidden from sight. You said there's a bunch of debris and shit around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a bunch of Khalif. Is there incense or ashes or anything like that all over the
Mm-hmm.
place? On the way out of the room, Neil's going to grab a brazier and just a couple handfuls of ash.
Okay. As the group of you head down, Jubair actually calls out to you from the next door. There's people at the entrance. We have to go out another way. Come on!
Okay.
Excitedly, he shoulders open a window and starts trying to make open space. We'll have to jump.
What, jump?
Yes, come on.
Wait. Okay. Beloved, are you...
Nara looks up.
Can you jump?
There is no escaping the web of knives.
Maybe. But Johnny told me never to give up. Just to keep fighting.
Who is Johnny?
He's a very headstrong Bruja, I know.
We don't have very many Bruja who survive here.
Huh? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're alive either.
Jubair leaps, clearly channeling some of the power of his celerity, but actually rolls up to his feet pretty good when he gets to the next rooftop. The observatory is a pretty high point from that nearby roof.
Oh boy.
So at the very least, this is gonna hurt.
You go first.
She tries to conjure up some magic and lifts herself off the ground, and through the power of Duran Ki, she actually levitates and kind of at a walking pace floats down towards where Jubair is waiting. Everything goes silent.
Neil will turn, because he's just near the window, throw his handfuls of ash into the air, because fuck you, obfuscate, and then throw himself out the window as best he can.
When you throw the ash up into the air, it gives you just the briefest outline of this forming figure that's stalking just inches behind you. And give me a dexterity plus athletics roll.
I can have spent more for dex.
The way this is going to work is it is going to deal 4 levels of lethal damage minus 1 level of damage per success that you roll on your athletics check. And then you can roll whatever soak you have.
Neil, not having enough time to really prepare himself, throws himself as best as his little kicky legs will take him out the window towards the other rooftop. I think it's important to note that I have no athletics. So... I don't blow 10s. 2 successes.
Okay, so roll stamina.
I don't have much of that either. 2 successes.
Okay, you hit the ground. It is not a graceful landing.
No.
But Jubair grabs you and he's like, "That was great! Let's go! We have to keep going if we want to live!"
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I'll follow you. I don't know the city very well.
Oh, no, me neither. I just got here.
Which way do we need to go?
Just get to the river.
Where's the river?
Well, there's 2 of them. There's one on each side. Just get to a river.
North, south, east, or west?
I was thinking let's go and as he's pondering it, you swear there's that moment of silence again.
Okay. Now, no, pick a direction. Great. And Neil will... Is Nara still floating? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, she's still floating.
Just sort of take her hand to pull her along like a balloon.
It actually doesn't work. It makes it harder for her to maintain the magic. Eventually, she just drops
tries
to the
for
ground,
a second.
yeah,
all right.
And would rather just limp along with you.
Runs along, and Neil will spend a point of blood as they're running to figure out his direction sense, so he can help at least guide them in the right direction. Since Jubair is very enthusiastic, but I'm not sure has the most efficient frame of mind.
No, he kind of seems really happy to be here, even though the web of knives has come to kill everyone. It's not a deal breaker for Jubair.
Okay, as much as I love him, that means I want him not to die, so we gotta go. So Neil will, as they're running, look up to the sky and spend a point of blood and try and get his direction, so that he said, "Hey, the river's to the south, we gotta go to the south."
Okay. You
hoping that Jubair actually knows what he's talking about in
he's
terms
actually
of
right.
directions.
This cradle of a place is actually surrounded by water, and there is indeed a river there.
Great. Okay. Well, now I know where we're going. What do we do when we get to the river?
Are we going to the river?
I'm not a very strong swimmer.
What, dude? Why would you need to be a strong swimmer? What are you going to do? Breathe your way out of here? Let's go. Come on.
Okay.
He kind of like does like a big friendship hug with you and Nara, but is actually kind of like trying to run with you guys. And I just need a couple of dex and athletics challenges.
Oh boy.
This one is against 6 lethal, and then the last one is against 8 lethal.
What?
As Joubert kind of like pushes for some hustle with through judicious use of his celerity.
Okay. You know, I'm in the interim. I'm gonna spend another blood for that. For another point of dex, just because. And I will spend a willpower on one of these to keep us going. Assuming I still have full willpower. I have no idea. I'm still drugged to shit.
Yeah, no, they were hooking you up.
All right. Oh, difficulty. What was it?
6.
6. Okay, regular. 3 successes on 4 successes for the first one with the willpower.
So why don't you give me a stamina roll against 2 lethal?
2 successes.
Okay.
I've been actually rolling really good here.
Yeah, no, you
This is-
hit the ground. Joubert is like, yes, that was so very good.
Okay.
You've done this before.
I have never. Nope.
Well, not against with knives, you'd be dead, but, you know, from other stuff.
I'm gonna have people talk to you about bedside manner.
What? And then he just kind of like starts rushing along.
And then you need another one.
Yep, one more.
All right.
He's like, this is a big one, but we're near the river now. If we can just get down to the ground floor.
All right, I'm definitely spending another willpower and another blood. Pump my dex up to 5 because 3 willpower, 4 successes.
So you're rolling 7 against 4 lethal.
4 lethal. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, yeah. That's a. It's not a botch, but it's a nothing.
You land. It doesn't hurt at first, but then you notice this audible crunch that comes from your left leg. And when you look down, you can see bone popping out of your pants leg.
Oh, that's not good.
However, before you land, you hear this like grunt come from Nara. When you hit the ground, Joubert rushes to the two of you. He sees your leg, and he's like, no, Nara! She looks as though the fluid from her body has been stripped from her, and she is in this death-like state.
Okay. Now do I do? She's.
In her back, there is a single throwing knife, and like dripping from its point of entry is this like black viscous goo.
No. Is she?
We have to go, Neil.
This isn't final death. It's
We
not.
take her with us. I don't know yet. We find out.
Okay, this
Listen,
it can't be. It can't.
Neil, he slaps you. Neil, you are what they want. If they do not have you, there is hope. So we make sure that they do not have you. And we take Nara with us so that if Nara dies, she is in good company. And if she does not die, we save her.
Okay.
So for now, we leave with you and her. We go now. Let's go.
Okay. And Neil tries his little best to like heft her and try and carry her and keep going as best he can on a broken leg.
You
Can I spend a point of blood just to like pop the bone back into place?
absolutely.
Okay.
You wade into the water, and I need a Dex plus Athletics roll as Al-Mualim draws closer. If you are successful, you're able to make it down towards the bottom of the river, and where it'd be much harder for Al-Mualim to follow you. If not, we'll be rolling to see whether or not he snatches Nara from your hands.
Definitely spending willpower on this one. And you can pump dex to 6, right?
You can actually just kind of keep pumping Dex. But if it's after 6, the bonus goes away after 3 rounds.
Well, I can only spend one at a time, and I only have a limited blood pool, so that's...
So 6 is probably it.
Yeah. Holy shit, look at this roll.
It seems some things are meant to be.
That is 7 successes.
Okay. You dive in, taking Nara with you, and you can feel the cold, dead hand grab her, but her hand kind of slips between his fingers as you descend into the water. There's a few things that happen. One, the current is actually very difficult to operate in. But once you're down deep enough, you're essentially just kind of going along for a slow ride. There really isn't any light coming from out of the river. even with your heightened senses, you are able to kind of see your way around. And using his heightened senses, Jubair does make it to you. And it becomes the three of you, one of you in torpor, making your way out of the situation. By the time you surface, Jubair comes out with you. He looks really, really sad. And he kind of sits down next to you on the banks of the river. And he opens his backpack. And he kind of takes out this clump of like wet, ruined paper from all of the notes that he worked so hard on. He grits his teeth, steps away, and frenzies, hissing and screaming and losing it because of the notes he had taken are now gone, because of his own idea. And you find yourself with a torpid Nara on your lap, and this strange man, Jubair, howling at the night.
Neil just sits on the bank, runs his fingers through Nara's like wet, shriveled hair, looks down at like the clump of papers. I think I can save those. Thinking about just stacks of wet newspapers that feel like home that he has not seen in weeks.
Do you have Eyes of Chaos?
I do.
Roll it.
Here's a weird question that's never come up before. Eyes of Chaos is a perception roll.
Yeah.
Does Auspex lower difficulty?
Yes.
Okay. So it's because it's a set, it's whatever you set minus 4
Yeah.
for diff.
So diff 3.
8 successes.
Okay. With 8 successes, you see that all of his research barely brushes against the tip of an iceberg. And you find yourself pondering other major locations across the globe and the subtle signs of these events conspiring to come into existence. And you realize that those signs of Gehenna that he was pondering so much aren't global events. They aren't things that are going to appear in the news. They aren't things that are going to be discussed in Elysium. And they are just these subtle, quiet moments waiting to happen. And you know now, more than ever before, that those moments are real. They conspire to bring ruin to the world.
Neil just kind of loses himself in the moment, waiting for Jubair to calm down.
In time, Jubair calms down, and he heads over next to you, and he sits just sullen and defeated.
The things you did. Not quite looking at him, just kind of looking at the flow of the water. The work you put in, it was worth it.
But now it's gone.
I seen it. I was reading it.
What did you see?
It's happening. It's all happening. But you, Nara, all of us, we were too focused on the grand, on the large scales, and the earth-shaking news. That's not what's happening. This is a much quieter apocalypse than any of us thought was going to happen. But it's happening.
He watches, enthralled as you speak. Then we must listen carefully. I do not know where we can take Nara where she will be safe. If the web of knives is willing to attack her, I must believe that they are willing to take her on life.
I want to go home.
Where are you from?
America. From New Haven.
I do not know of New Haven in America.
My haven is there. My coterie is there. I think. I hope.
I have friends who can get us to America. Like LA or New York.
New York is closer. It's not safe.
Nowhere is safe, my friend. The world is coming.
That's true.
Let's go to New York.
New Haven was a war zone, but so is this.
I do not like war zones.
I wonder who's in control of the city. We'll have to be quiet when we go in. Try and get the lay of the land. See who's in charge.
I will trust in your wisdom, child of the moon.
Let's get there. Let's go.
Okay.
I think I'm starting to sober up.
Always a sign of a bad time.
And Neil sort of quietly gets to his feet, because what else are you going to do but walk?
Chewbacca gets up to follow him, and the three of you wander off.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta, the unknown new embrace, was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabby. Miles Davenport the Ventru was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erica Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoax. Visit them online at technoax.com, teknoax.com. Path of Night uses the 20th Anniversary Edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the Storyteller system are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at @PathOfNightPod, on Facebook at facebook.com/PathOfNightPodcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.